headed out now to the Beacon waterfront. Got on the Hoka Speed Goat 4. Just going to be doing kind of a buffed out trail. Honestly, a trail that probably does not require a trail shoe, but I'm going to kind of take a loop around by the beach, down by the water. It's a short run overall, but it has some rocks and some bricks and some other just kind of weird terrain in that area. I'm not looking to do any kind of high mileage today. Probably going to be around 3 to 4 miles just to loosen up after yesterday, which was about 5.5 miles. But those Nike Zoom Fly shoes that were a little bit dead from the foam just being old, my legs took a little bit of a beating. So just going to take it easy, want to go on some dirt and try out the Hoka Speed Goat 4 before I take them back up into the mountains again, which will probably be tomorrow. I'd like to get up there. I'll be done with work early and we might be able to get that done. Alright, we're here at the waterfront. Just need the GPS to sync up, which everyone knows can take a few seconds. There we go. Alright, let's head out. You'll see here right away, this is what I wanted, the trail shoes. It's muddy, there's bricks and sticks. You just don't want to slip. Then you have to duck through everything here. But it's a nice trail. Some nice scenery on the other side. Some logs you gotta jump over. I'll go under apparently. But it's a lot of fun. This is a really cool, like, paved in rail line they made. So it's a train track that's no longer in use. And they just filled it in with dirt and sand, and you can see now it's just pretty flat. And you can just run on it. Alright, that was a good recovery run for today. We're all done, about 3.25 miles. Again, just taking it easy as I build the mileage back up, and kind of a longer run for the time being yesterday. So we'll head home now, and I'll finally talk a little bit about the ZoomX Invincible and why it really is not working for me and why it might not work for you either. Okay, now that we finished the recovery run, we're going to talk about the Nike ZoomX Invincible Run Flyknit. And why it really has not worked for me and why it may not be the best option for you. Obviously, the first thing you probably know if you looked into the shoe at all is that so many people have fallen in love with this shoe. It's super, responsive. It has a full ZoomX foam in the midsole. So the ZoomX foam is kind of the go-to foam for Nike for their really fast racing shoes. It's lightweight, it's responsive, it's really bouncy. If you've ever run in any of Nike racing shoes recently, you know that you have that feeling in this foam. It is a little bit heavier. It is over 11 ounces in a men's size 10 as their listed weight on the website. But no one's really been complaining. That's not really where my issue is with this shoe. So there's really two things. The first one, we'll kind of keep it simple, is easy. It's not really anybody's fault, but it's just too narrow for somebody who has a little bit of a wider foot. Now, I run in the Next Percent. I have the Next Percent too. I use the 4% Flyknit. Didn't have any issues with my size. In this shoe, the Flyknit is not really Flyknit like we're used to from, you know, some of the other Nike Flyknit shoes going back, you know, 5-10 years. The Flyknit that's in the 4%, that's a very soft, stretchy Flyknit. This is really kind of rigid, so you can feel that it is a Flyknit material, but it doesn't stretch, it doesn't move, it doesn't have any forgiveness. So in the thickest part of your feet up here, if you have a wider foot, you're not really even able to loosen up the laces because the laces end right here. So for me, it's not even like I put it on and it feels tight. I can start going on my run, I can get about a mile into it, and then I'm gonna start to feel like I just have some soreness, some tightness in the shoe, kind of that foot going numb feeling that you may feel when you lace something up too tight. But I've tried a couple times now to go on a run and keep the laces really loose, and there's just nothing I can do about it. If you still consider that you have a slightly wide foot, watch out for this shoe. You may start to feel some pain as you get into a longer run. So the second issue I have with the shoe is really just more my body type. You know, even when I was racing pretty well in 2019, I was running around a 3-hour, 30-minute marathon. I could run an hour and 40-minute half marathon. I was always moving around 220, 230 pounds. That's just who I am. So I've gained a little bit of weight last year from COVID, just not being as active, not being able to go to the gym as much. But I don't think it's that much of a difference from when I was still racing in, say, the Next Percent in 2019. But with this shoe and kind of a heavier weight, I don't feel like I get the same responsiveness and bounce that out of this shoe that a lot of other people are reporting. It still feels soft. It still feels like a nice shoe aside from the width issues, but at my weight and at anybody else, you know, who's over 200 pounds may start to feel like it's just not able to spring us back. You know, we may just be too heavy for the foam. It just compresses and it really doesn't push us back off the ground. The Next Percent and the 4% do that. Maybe it's just the help of the carbon fiber plate to kind of help the foam. But when it's 100% ZoomX midsole, no plate in there to really give you any extra pushback, it just doesn't seem to be working for a heavier runner. It is what it is. You know, you can't really blame Nike for not being able to create a shoe that works from everybody that's 100 pounds all the way up to 250 pounds. But again, just for me, that's one of the reasons why this shoe didn't work. And those are the two big things. It's really just the width, and again, just the really firm Flyknit, not the stretchy Flyknit that you may be used to, and just the ZoomX, 100% ZoomX midsole. Just not quite able to spring somebody back up if you are over, I'd say, 210, 215 pounds. That's my experience with it. Just want to point that out. If anybody is heavier or have a wider foot and they want to think about buying this shoe, it's still kind of the hot shoe for this summer, so something to consider. Obviously with Nike, if you have, you know, an account, which is just simply signing up with an email, the return policy is really great. So I wouldn't say don't do it, but just look out for those issues. Go for a short run in it first, see if you have any issues like I did, and just consider returning it if it doesn't work for you like it didn't work for me.